and welcome back to my channel. For those who are new or for those who are returning, hi, my name is Citlali Olvera. I'm a 23-year-old who's literally trying to figure out life. I lost my dad a little bit over 4 months ago, and girl, we are completely lost. And you might be wondering, why are you sitting on the ground? Because I know you could tell I'm on the ground, girl. Why are you sitting on the ground? What are we doing? What is going on? And why did you not post? Girl, last week I definitely tried to record, but I cannot get myself to finish that video, which is exactly why we are here today. And yes, you might be saying, oh my God, girl, you look like a mess again. Yes, I do. I do. But what I'm going to share with you guys is just going to make sense, girl. I've been a mess. I've been a freaking total mess. So last week, I was actually on my way to my dad's house for the third time since he passed away. And although I had already been there twice before, it was very much like I wanted to get in and out. And I tried not to think about the fact that my dad was no longer there. This time around, I already knew that it was going to be a very, very hard experience. But I was like, you know what? I am going to try to record. I'm going to try to share with you guys, try to share where I have lived for the last 5 years. And nope, that did not happen. I will go ahead and show you what I actually recorded. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Citlali Olvera. I'm a 23-year-old who lost her dad at the end of March, and I am trying to figure out life and what to do with life, but at the same time trying to enjoy it. For those who are returning, thank you so much for being here. And today we are actually on our way to my dad's house. I need to actually pick up some stuff. It is a very, very hard day, but we are going to get through it. And we actually did just go ahead and stop to get some breakfast. Yeah. As you see, it is not a lot. I literally said, hi, what we're doing, and then boom, literally went silent. And then we pulled in into the driveway. I realized that it was not going to be a good experience. I realized it was not going to be a good day, and it wasn't. It literally wasn't. I unlocked the door, I went inside, and I already knew that my dad was not there. Walked to the door, I unlocked it, we went inside, and everything just came at me. Those flashbacks, those like the memories, and honestly, I was just heartbroken. Not about me just being there, but about the fact that I was there without my dad. First thing that I did when we got to the house was actually go into the dining room area where I stood by the door because, you know, there's a sliding door to go to the backyard. I stood there and I just looked out. And I looked out because I really wanted to see my dad mowing his grass, or my dad cutting his tree, or fixing the plants, or playing with the dogs. But guess what? He wasn't there. And I think that that moment really hit me so much. So this might be a little random to all of you and be like, oh, okay, why are you telling us like we don't care? Actually, I walked into my old bedroom and I realized like, okay, all these people on the internet know my name. They know how I look. They know I lost my dad. They know I'm a 23-year-old who's literally trying to figure out life. But that's it. The people out there don't know who I am as a person. You guys don't know like, you know, my birthday, my favorite color, my favorite food, what I like to do for fun, like stuff that interests me, or literally anything. You guys don't know besides whatever I've actually been sharing online. And, you know, that's how it is with all the influencers out there. I'm not calling myself an influencer. I'm not saying I'm a content creator. But let's be real. We don't really know the people out there. So although we are a very, very tiny channel, I do want to go ahead and share a little bit more about myself because I feel that you deserve to know who you're watching. Because I know that when I watch people, I like to know a little bit of their backstory. I always try to look for those like interviews that they do or for some sort of backstory to them. So yes, you might be thinking, Citlali, this is a little premature. You have like 55 subscribers. Yes, I do. I only have 55 subscribers, but maybe tomorrow is going to be 56. Maybe in a month from now, we're at 5,000. I don't know. You got to manifest it into existence. So without further ado, I do want to go ahead and dive into this conversation. I mean, I guess you can grab your coffee, your tea, your water, girl, your alcohol, because it is that I'm going to talk, you're going to listen type of situation. Unless you reply to me in the comments, and I don't know. Wait, before that, I do want to say, I actually tried to go ahead and start another video for you guys, showing you a little bit more of what we were going to do. And girl, that was a mess. I will now show you what I actually recorded, just so you know that I'm not lying to you guys. I have tried, but I am a total wreck. Grief is definitely kicking my butt, and it's been at its worst. I am actually going to dive in a little bit into that in this video as part of my get to know me. But let me just show you guys, okay? We just got to Chili's. We are going to have some lunch for National Girlfriend's Day. We have a lot to do today, but come with us. I'm not even gonna say where we're at anymore. I'm just gonna show you. So earlier I didn't record anymore, but after we ate and after we got Amigos Toxicos, we just went to Walmart. I had to get some makeup. And today is actually the birthday party for my boyfriend's sisters. He has two younger sisters, one of them whose birthday has already actually passed and the other one is coming up. But we are actually celebrating them today with one party, and come on with me, let me show you. Let's enjoy. Okay, there you go. The second time I tried recording, everything was just a mess, okay? But let's get rolling with this video. Hi, like I said, my name is Citlali Olvera and I am 23 years old. My name actually, I guess it's a little bit interesting. My dad did go ahead and pick out my name for me. And so they say that it came up like Discovery Channel, History Channel. I don't know which channel. My dad loved to watch those TV shows or like those TV channels. So it came from there. But then somebody else has told me like it came from a calendario azteca that he saw at a restaurant. So I don't know, kind of a little bit of a mixed story there. But yeah, my name is Citlali. It comes from the Aztecs. It's Nahuatl and it means star. From what I researched here and there, I find different stuff. It says like it means this, it means that, like there's a root to this. But overall, the simple meaning is star, which I think is pretty iconic. My siblings' names mean nothing, girl. My siblings' names don't mean anything cool. At least not that I know. I love my siblings, guys. If you guys are watching this, if you are my sister or my younger brother, I love you guys. I love your name, but you guys have really long names. Super extreme long names. Like poor Kinder you that had to write out the entire name. Like, yes, I have a very hard first name, but it's just Citlali Olvera. That's it, girl. That is it. One of the little things that I would always use to like introduce myself in school or whatever it is that we're doing was literally my name. Like my one fun fact about me was that my name is from the Aztecs. I know you guys might be thinking like, wow, that's lame, but I think it's pretty cool. Girl, from the Aztecs, my siblings wish they had that. My birthday is in October. I am a Libra. I know a lot of people hate Libras, but I love Libras because I'm a Libra. I don't know, but us Libras could be fun, could be cool. Girl, I am like outgoing, but then at the same time, I'm not. I don't know if that has to do with anything about being a Libra or if that's just who I am as a person. I'm the middle child. There is three of us. I have an older sister and then I have a younger brother who I love a lot, who I feel that I am very close to. I am definitely a lot closer to my sister as we are both females. I feel there's more of that connection. As to having a younger brother, it's kind of like different just because of the fact, not only because I'm a female and he's a male, but because he interacts in different ways. Like he likes video games and he likes this and he likes that. And it's like video games are cool. Like I used to play video games with him, but he has different interests and I'm like, I have no idea what we're talking about right now. Yeah, sure, why not? You know, like it's just different. And of course, I have a mom and I have a dad. My dad has passed away. I lost my dad March 25 of 2026. So yes, guys, it is very, very recent. My mother is well and alive. We are not close. So I will go ahead and say that we are not close. So if I don't talk too much about her, or if you don't see her like in anything that I record, that is exactly why. And yes, I am being transparent because then you guys are also going to know a little bit more as to why losing my dad was very hard. Or I mean, maybe from the statement, you kind of already gathered it, right? I am a daughter of immigrants. Both of my parents are from Michoacan, born and raised, and then they came over to the US. And I was actually born here. I was born and raised in Salinas, California. And if you don't know where that's at, pop it in your maps. I am not good with that geography type of stuff. In my last video, I tried referencing where Salinas was at. That was a disaster. A disaster. If you know where Monterey and Carmel are at, Salinas is close by, girl, because I know Monterey and Carmel have been on TikToks, have been online. People kind of know where those places are, you know. I lived in Salinas till I was about 18 years old, and then we actually moved over to the Central Valley with the cows. My dad did go ahead and buy a house out there, so I kind of lived there for about 5 years. I really want to say 5 years exactly because of the fact that I was kind of going back and forth. So when we did move, it was COVID still. It was December of 2020. I had already started college, but I was doing college online. So when the time came, I actually moved over to the Bay Area. I went to San Jose State University, which I actually also graduated from. But in between that time period, it was like, okay, I was in San Jose, but then I would go back for like winter breaks or summer breaks or whatever breaks I had. And then I would come back and then I would go back and then I would come back for internships, kind of just back and forth. So I would say like from 2021 to like 2023 about, I was kind of going back and forth. So I don't really know where you would say that I lived for, But I did go ahead and graduate San Jose State in December of 2023. And a little bit about my college story is that I was on campus. And then in August of 2022, my grandpa became very sick. My grandpa had already been sick for a really long time, but my dad kept saying that everything was going to be fine. And we all had faith in God that, you know, he was going to survive everything that was going on. But when August of 2022 hit, I told my dad, hey, like, I think I'm going to move back home officially and just finish school online, because I am so grateful for having like fully online classes now. You know, like that's a thing. I know before it wasn't a thing, but it honestly saved my life, and it saved me from dropping out of college. So I told my dad, like, hey, I am moving back home, and like all the money that you were giving me for school, now you can focus on your dad and like provide him with all the health care that he needs. Because as you know, in Mexico, it's a lot different than it is in the US. My grandparents on my dad's side, both of them lived in Mexico, or I should say, you know, my grandma still lives there, and then my grandpa was buried over there. But he became very sick, and I told my dad, no, hey, I'm going home. And actually, it was so crazy. My dad had left to Mexico, and like I was already packing my stuff, and like I was supposed to move out that Friday. Like my stuff was already packed, ready to be loaded into a car, and then I was just going to check out the next morning. But that Thursday of that week, like my sister called and said, hey, like, you know, our grandpa just passed away. I am about to head over to San Jose to pick you up, and like we literally need to move you out tonight. Figure out a way to get out of there tonight. So I'm rambling a little bit. Like I didn't actually do like an outline for this video. My life, I feel like I've had grief since I was young. Like my first grandpa on my mom's, like, well, my grandpa on my mom's side passed away when I was 3. So like I have no idea how he looked or like anything. Like of course there's pictures, but it's not the same thing. So it's been really hard living with that thought of like, I wish I would have known him, or I wish I would have remembered him, right? So I think me sharing this with you guys makes you kind of understand as to how grief has been kicking my butt, girl. Grief is like just haunting my life at this point. But yeah, anyway, so my sister picked me up, and like, you know, we flew out to Mexico, and we did what we had to do for, you know, my grandpa's services. And then we came back, and I had officially moved back home. And now at this point, I was going to focus on working and then finishing school at the same time. Because one thing I will say about me, that I rather put out there, because if not, others are going to be like, oh, your life was so easy when you were younger. Girl, my dad sacrificed his entire life to provide me and my siblings and his entire family with everything that we needed from bottom to top. One thing about me is I want to say I feel and I think and I act like I am very down to earth. Very, very grounded indeed, because of the fact that my dad sacrificed his entire life for me. My dad was a very simple man. He was very funny. He was very nice. He literally helped people in any kind of way that he possibly could. My dad was that type of human that if he saw like a homeless outside of a store asking for money, he wouldn't give them money. He would actually go and buy them food and then come and bring them the food back. Believe it or not, a lot of the people were like, oh dang, like he's really getting them a burger. Yes, he is getting them a burger. Now look away, girl. Don't even judge my dad for getting somebody a burger. But that is a kind of man that my dad was. My dad would go ahead and always try to provide for others, even when they were strangers. If he could help a stranger, he was like the happiest man that day. So that being said, when I was living under my dad's roof, my dad would provide for me. Actually provided for me until I graduated college. And no, it's not a lie. Yes, I did have jobs here and there. Yes, like if I wanted my nails done, I would pay for my nails, for my hair, for all that little stuff. Like, yeah, I would pay for myself. But when it came to housing or food or any of that sort, my dad would be like, no, you're living under my roof. You're like a well kid, like you're going to school, like you're working, like you're not being stupid. I'm gonna pay for your shit. And I'm like, all right, thank you, you know. So my dad always, I am very, very thankful, and like I would say even privileged to have had a parent like that, where it was like, no, here you go, here you go. When I went to college, he gave me a car. I had a car thanks to my dad. My dad paid for my housing. My dad paid for my tuition. My dad would send me money for groceries, guys. Yes, I was working. I would literally go to class. I would work. I would go to class, and then I would go ahead and go to work again. So the way that I did it in college was I worked for a school for a couple of hours only, and then I would go back to class, and then the entire afternoon or whenever I had a chance, I would go on DoorDash. Because of my random schedule in school, and you guys know how it is for those who have been in school, your classes are like scattered literally all over the place and it's a mess. I just did DoorDash. And because I was in the Bay Area, it was a huge city, DoorDash paid super, super good. So good that honestly it got me through college. Like, besides my dad's help, whatever my dad didn't cover, like obviously I covered myself with DoorDash. You guys might think like, damn, you never struggled. Honestly, I never really struggled to the point where I felt like I was dying, you know, because if I felt like I didn't have enough money, I would tell my dad like, hey, I'm sorry to ask, but like, can you let me borrow money, or would you mind paying for this and I'll pay you back? You know, my dad was very open to like, yes, I'll let you borrow the money, but you need to get it together type of thing. So at a point it was like, all right, like let's cut it here. Like, I'm going to start paying you for bills. I'm going to start paying you for like living under your roof, like all that little stuff. My dad, guys, my dad never wanted to take rent money from me. He was always like, no, like use it on yourself, or like, oh, you can just buy your brother a burger, or oh, maybe when we go out during the weekend, you could invite us like to go eat, or you can pay for this, or you can pay for that. Slowly, I started paying for like the light bill, or I started paying for like little bills, or I would take over the Wi-Fi or all of our phones. You know, I did little stuff, but my dad was very much like, focus on yourself because you need to learn financial responsibility, which was very hard for me, I would say. But like I'm telling you guys, I was so privileged. And no, it doesn't only hurt that my dad is gone now because of the fact that he would pay for all my stuff. So don't even think that. But the reason I am saying this is because I know that a lot of people don't have that. A lot of people would always be like, oh, your dad gives you everything. Like, I'm sorry if it affects you, but my dad is kicking his ass at work to provide for me. Because believe it or not, my dad worked like there was no tomorrow. My dad, all he knew was like work, 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 and like spend time with family and work, 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 work. Like, that was his entire life. I know I'm kind of going like, ooh, in circles and circles, and I'm coming off hard, but this is who I am. Like, a lot of my life was shaped by my dad. So I'm even still learning stuff as I go, you know, like I have lost my dad at a very young age, where I know that there's so much more to life. I know there's so much to learn, and now I'm gonna have to learn about myself. Now my dad is not here to teach me or to be there when I'm like failing and crying and like in shambles, you know. So I guess kind of going back to this, so in 2022 I did lose my grandpa on my dad's side, and my dad lost his dad. So I feel that in that moment in time it was like, wow, like here we go with the grieving. And I experienced grief in a really bad way. I think that it was the very first time that somebody so close to me had passed away from what I could remember, right? Because when I lost my first grandpa, I was 3, so I don't know. When I lost this grandpa, I was, how old was I? I think I was like 20. I was like 20, okay? I don't even remember. Sometimes I don't even remember my age, girl. Sometimes I'm like, how old am I? But yes, I think I was like 20-ish, about to be 21, I want to say. And it was like this person, you know, that I saw. I grew up with my grandpa, so he saw me grow up and I saw him grow old, and we would visit him like every December. We were in Mexico, and like, you know, we bonded, and it was really hard. So it was to the point where I was going to therapy, and like they told me like, okay, you have severe anxiety and severe depression. If I was ever so depressed like I was this time around, but it was heavy. It was extremely heavy. And I know that my dad was actually experiencing something very similar with his emotions, because we would talk a lot. Like, me and my dad were very close, to the point where he would start telling me about his feelings, and like I would tell him about mine, and like we just kind of knew when we were both having a really bad day, and we would just start cracking jokes, or we would be like, oh hey, like let's go get a coffee, or like, oh, let's go get like a burger or something, you know. Like, we kind of knew how to make each other just smile, at least if it was for a minute, just to go about our day. But before I keep talking about my dad, I want to share more facts about me, because again, this is a get to know me. So I guess that on top of being a Libra, one of my favorite colors, or at least I should say my favorite color scheme, would be like the teal, the aqua, like the blue with the sage green. Girl, I love everything that has to do with teal, turquoise, anything that's like in that color scheme. Oh, girl, give it to me. I would pay millions of dollars if I had them for stuff that color. I am going to show you guys my car right here because believe it or not, I took it a little too deep, girl. I got a car and my car is actually in that color scheme. And yes, estoy loca a huevo. Me juzgan cuando me miran en el carro de ese color a huevo. ¿Me da vergüenza? No. Honestly, I am so happy that I got this car because the color, oh my God, the color. I'm literally not going to get over it. Like, I can say the color for an hour, but nobody wants to hear it. Nobody wants to hear it. I know that a lot of the times I wear like pink, I wear black, I wear all these colors. But if you get me something that is the color I'm telling you, I'm gonna wear it every single day. I got PJs that color. Like, honestly, my quinceañera dress was that color. I'm gonna show you right here. And I feel that that is when my, like, and I will say addiction. I will say it because I feel like it's an addiction. My addiction for this color, my love for this color came from my quinceañera dress. Because after that, I did not let it go at all. Now I really like pink again and like purple and like basically anything that's pastel, I love. But oh my God, the aquas, that is where you get me. If you ever get me something, get it that color. Like, there was this oh my God, there was this pant set that I wanted when we moved out, like, well, when I moved in with my boyfriend, and I wanted it, but I'm like, okay, like, it's not his favorite color, like, let's get something that's more neutral. And I was just like, okay, no, like, I need to put like a end, not an end, but like a pause to this stuff because I can buy everything this color and I'll be fine. Like, if I could get a couch and like paint this entire apartment that color, I would. Así estoy de loca. And some of my interests are actually drinking coffee. Like, I don't know if drinking coffee is a hobby, but if it's not, then it's what literally my number one top interest that I have in life. I love coffee. And no, I'm not talking about black coffee. No, girl, I cannot drink the black coffee unless I'm super tired or dying or something. Then I'll drink it. I like the sugar. Si me da diabetes, mejor. But the coffee with all the sugars added, I don't care. Just kidding. If you are trying to be healthy with your macchiatos, just get a caramel macchiato. Do non-fat milk, do the sugar-free syrup, and do extra caramel. And you're going to be fine, okay? Just a recommendation from me that I'm trying to get healthier. So that is the alternative that I have because it's healthier. But when I am not trying to be healthy, I get all the sugars. I love caffeine. Like, I have an espresso at home, and sometimes I don't even use it because I'm like, it doesn't taste the same as like Starbucks or like the local coffee shop, you know? But I love coffee. Another thing about me recently, believe it or not, I started getting into pasta so freaking much. Like, I can have spaghetti every day. I can have chicken alfredo every day. I am learning how to make all these dishes, but they're all like pasta based or have some sort of pasta in it, and it's just like delish. And another thing that I've kind of seen like getting to me a lot has been the cooking. Like I said, I'm not so close with my mom, so my mom never really taught me how to cook so much. The little stuff that I know, like, I've learned on my own, or like my older sister taught me, or my dad taught me some of this stuff, or like my uncle, my dad's brother used to live with us like years ago, but he would taught me how to do like hot chocolate, or like I would see how he would make his rice, or like how my sister or my mom would make the rice. So I kind of got like ingredients and like recipes from here and there. So yeah, I am a 23-year-old who doesn't really know how to cook, but we are learning, girl. This is what life is about. Life is a freaking experiment, in case you didn't know. So if you don't know how to cook, girl, I am with you. Don't even worry about it. Don't even be embarrassed about it. It's okay. I guess we don't all have that growing up, and it's fine. Literally, you can survive. A lot of the times I would be like, voy a sobrevivir de pura sopa maruchana. Girl, you see me make mole, girl. I made birria. A lo mejor no me salió muy buena, pero me salió. Okay, me salió algo allí. It's a matter of learning. And that is one thing about me, I guess, that you guys will always hear and see, is that I love to learn new stuff. I love to learn. I love to have an obstacle that I need to overcome, because then it's like, okay, shit, we got our shit together. And it's just like boom, 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 boom. We keep scaling up and up and up and up. And it's only up from there, girl. There's no way that you're up here and you go down back. No, no. When you're up, you're just going up and up and up. That is one thing about me. I'm always going up. I don't care. If I fail 100 times, that's fine, because I'm going to win once and it's going to be like, I never failed. So if you want to try something in life, just do it. What is the worst that we can do? Fail and try it again. Who cares? Si no es para ti, no es para ti, y ya. All right. Another thing about me that I should have mentioned when I mentioned my name. My dad wanted to name me after Aztec god. Aztec god. He was a male. He was a male, guys. Me quería poner Tlaloc. Tlaloc. You heard me right. Like, I know. I know. Tlaloc. What in the world? Para los que no saben quién es Tlaloc, Tlaloc is the god of, I want to say, de la lluvia y la tormenta. I mean, I could be totally wrong, but it has to do with rain. I don't know if it's just rain and also like lightning or like thunderstorms or rainstorms. I don't know, but I'm like, excuse me, like, what is happening there? Thank God he's just that Tlali, guys. Imagine if I would have said, hi, my name is Tlaloc and I am 23 years old. What in the world? If that was my birth name, I would have probably changed my name right now. But my dad wanted to name me all kinds of crazy shit. My dad wanted to be, well, his options were like Citlali, Tlaloc, Xochitl, a bunch of names. I don't know. Some Aztec, some random ones. And it was just like, are you okay? I know that my sister and my brother don't have the best name, but why mess with my name, girl? Why? I'm just kidding. Again, to my brother and my sister, guys, I love you guys. I love your name. You guys are cool. Oh my God, que vergüenza decir. But when I was little, I had no business doing this. I was like 13, 14 years old, maybe younger. I used to get those big fat chapter books, and I'd be like, all day. I loved to read. But I used to be made fun of too. Like, girl, it's still a joke now. Like, when I see my brother-in-law, he's like, remember when you were younger and you had those big books and you had them like this? I'm like, yes, I remember. Stop reminding me. Stop. But now I've actually gotten like the love to read again. Last 2 years ago in 2024, I started reading a lot more. I wasn't going to school anymore, so I can now actually read for fun. You know what I mean? So I started getting like a lot of poem books. I started getting into poems. I absolutely love poem books. Like, I remember I had like pre-ordered one like an entire year ahead. For what reason? Like, and I could not wait. Like, every day I was like, oh my God, it's one day closer. Oh my God. And then I finally got it. Oh, my favorite book. Honestly, my favorite book. But yeah, I've gotten into reading a lot, and it brings me some sort of peace too. Something else that brings me a lot of peace and makes me feel like extra grounded is coloring. I will sit there and I can color for hours, but I need coloring pencils, and I need the big pack of the coloring pencils, like the one I'll show you right here, that has all the colors, like the magenta, the light purple, the dark purple, the plum colors, everything, like the one with all of the shades. I absolutely love it. The thing is that I started doing photo albums. I grew up in a household where we had photo albums. Like, we had like those big fat album books at home. Like, there's pictures from my sister when she was literally a baby till like she was older, and then when my mom was pregnant and she had me, and like all of my baby pictures, and like when my parents were younger, and then like my grandparents as well, like everybody. And it was just so iconic. I used to love seeing those, so now I want to start my own, you know. And a lot of people are like, why? Like, I feel like every time I print out pictures at Walgreens, they're like, but it's like, honestly, your phone is not gonna live forever. Like, maybe one day I'm gonna die, nobody's gonna have access to my pictures, and then what? you know, like I don't know. So I rather just print out the stuff that I have. So like as you guys saw in one of my videos, I did go ahead and start a little photo album for my dad. So it has a lot of the pictures, but I still have a lot more to go. I start other ones, and I should say more actually. I gathered the photos and I put them inside a book. So it has a lot of the pictures of when like I started hanging out with my boyfriend, and then kind of from there on, and then a lot of pictures with my friends, whether it was high school, like a lot of the people I don't talk to anymore, but it's still very nice to see back and be like, oh, these were my friends, you know, these were my friends, like I had that friendship here. I know that one day when I have kids, they're gonna look back and be like, oh my god, look, it's mommy with her friends, you know, because I do see my niece saying that to my sister, where it's like, oh, it's mommy, and it is the cutest thing ever. Like it is the cutest thing ever. On that note, I am a tia. My sister has 2 beautiful kids and 2 beautiful dogs, so I am a tia of 2 humans and 2 doggies. So in total it is 4. So I actually became a tia with May. So my sister got a GSP, which I'll share right here. I'm sorry if I am not supposed to be sharing this, but I am going to show you guys May because I love her, and every time that I see her I'm like, ah, she's getting old, and it just makes me realize like, wow, I took care of her for a while when she was younger and she is a baby. So it's like, seeing her be older just breaks my heart. But I'll show you guys. So I became a tia with May. So my sister had May, which is their dog, their first dog. Then she got pregnant with my niece, and oh my god, it was my very first time being a tia, and guys, it is the most amazing feeling. It is the most amazing feeling. I feel so lucky to be a tia because these kids is just like, wow. Like seeing my sister and my brother-in-law be happy with their kids makes me happy, you know, and I get happy to see these kids. It makes me so happy to also hear my niece say my name, or say like tia, or you know, whatever it is that she says, or even she's running around sometimes driving me crazy. I'm like, I can't keep up with this child, you know. And then they also had my nephew, and I believe that it was when my sister was pregnant they got their second dog. So their second dog is actually a GSP as well. So it's the same breed as their first dog. And for them, I won't show pictures just because I will go ahead and, you know, it's their privacy. I'll respect that. But I'm sorry. I just had to share May, guys. Like May's not my baby, but May, I felt like she was my baby at a point. Let me say that. You might also know I obviously have a love for dogs. When I was living with my dad, we did have 2 dogs. Well, actually, let me say, my dad got me a goat. I have been a previous goat owner. So if you've never had a goat, don't even talk to me. I had a goat, which I'll share with you guys. His name was Max. One day I literally told my dad, oh my god, dad, there's people on TikTok getting a goat. Yo quiero un chivo. Cómprame un chivo, por favor. Cómprame. Mind you, we didn't live in a ranch, okay? In a residential area, like a neighborhood, you know, a regular neighborhood. So you're not technically allowed to have a goat or have farm animals. I think, I don't know what it is in the city code, whatever, you can't have them. But my dad got me one anyway. My dad came home one morning, like he woke up so early, and then texted me a picture of the goat as a, like, obviously it was a tiny little baby, and he came home and he got me a goat. Yeah, my dad loved me so much, he got me a goat. Obviously we couldn't have them, and they grow fast. So he grew fast, got super chunky, and we eventually had to get rid of him. So we did not eat him. Gave it away to a guy. That guy gave it away to another guy, and then that guy ate it. He made a birria. Let's say that much. He made a birria. But in between that we had that go, we did go ahead and get a dog. It was my dad's dream dog. Her name was Maya. I'll show you a picture. Or I should say she is, because she is still alive, girl. She is a Siberian Husky. That was my dad's dream dog. So my sister actually got it. I picked it up from Salinas. I took it back to the Central Valley, and she was a Central Valley gal. I know. My Husky girl, she actually loved the Central Valley. We would get her pools full of ice, make sure she was cool. We would bring her inside in the AC. She was actually raised inside for a while until my dad was like, okay, no, like she's a dog. She got to go outside. So she kind of grew up with our goat Max for a little bit. And then when Max left, she was by herself. And then, like I said, I was kind of going back and forth. So when I went back to school, my dad just on a random, I think it was like a Saturday, he texted me and said like, oh, we got a dog. And then they called me and they showed me, and then they like sent me pictures of the dog. So Maya had a little sister. Her name is, guys, I don't know, ever since I lost my dad, I just refer everything as like was, but no, her name is Minnie. She's well and alive as well. And she looks like this. She's a mix of like a pit bull with I don't know what, girl. We don't even know what breed she is. Literally, my mom, my dad, and my brother were at the Pulga flea market, and then they were giving away dogs. And they thought it was a good idea to get a dog, and they took it. So my husky kind of raised the other dog as like her daughter. It was very in her blood to like care for her. So I don't know, she was honestly just amazing. And those two dogs are not with me anymore. When my dad passed away, we actually brought them over here, and it was really hard, but at a point I had to say goodbye to them. I found homes for both of them, and with very loving people, which that's, you know, what makes me happy. For Minnie, the one that I was not too close with, but for Minnie, I get to see her a lot more. And for Maya, I haven't seen her since I said goodbye. The owner is so nice. She actually does send me pictures of her here and there, and I get to check in. She's very nice, and she's like, hey, you could always check in, no worries, like we won't judge you. So very nice people. But now I want to dive in a little bit more about talking about my dad, because like I've already said, my dad was my entire world. My dad provided so much for me. And no, I don't only miss my dad because he provided for me, girl. No, I don't just miss my dad for that reason, because you guys are gonna be like, oh, she only misses him because le dio todo. Mi dad sí me daba todo y en una bandeja de oro. I'm gonna say that because it is true. My dad did. If you talk to a family member, that's probably what they're gonna tell you. But again, girl, a lot of people judge without even knowing what's going on, okay? From 2022, right before my grandpa passed away, so like maybe a month before his death, my dad started feeling sick. My dad had been feeling sick since 2022 all the way to December of 2024. Within the time frame from when I was living with my parents to the day that I moved out, I was one of two primary caregivers for my dad. I even want to call myself his primary caregiver for a lot of that time, because of the fact that I would always go with my dad. I would insist and beg my dad to go to the doctor. I'd be like, come on, you're feeling sick. Like, we need to go to the doctor. You need to go to the doctor. Like, please, they're probably going to give you a reference somewhere else, and then they're going to find out what happened. So in 2022 and 2023, he was like super in and out of places, and like nobody would tell him anything. In 2024, I made it my goal to be almost at every single appointment that my dad had, and that obviously I was permitted to by the doctors. I was with my dad every single time that he would go to a cardiologist or like a doctor's appointment and stuff like that, and nobody ever found anything. My dad lived with a tumor for so long and nobody caught it. But that is one thing about glioblastoma, brain cancer. The moment that you catch it, it is very advanced and it is very hard to almost do anything about it. So in 2024, me and my dad were at the point where we had even lost faith, guys. We had lost faith, and we were like, fuck this, fuck this. My dad was so tired of going to like the emergency rooms or having to go to the doctors. It got to the point where I had to call 911 and get like an ambulance dispatched to our home to be like, hey, I don't know what's going on with my dad. The symptoms of glioblastoma are very much similar to one of a stroke. So I remember like calling the 911 line, the dispatchers, and then they're like, okay, like do this, do that, do this, do that. And they were telling me basically the instructions of how to tell if it was a stroke or not. And it wasn't. My dad did actually have to get an ambulance, and they had to take him out of town at a different hospital with different care teams, and they found nothing. That morning I remember that it was like 3 a.m. and we got home maybe like 3:30 a.m. or maybe 4 a.m. I can't remember, if I'm honest. And my dad went to work the next day like nothing happened. And I was so heartbroken that time, because I'm like, what the hell? You just experienced this crazy shit. You were in the hospital. You got discharged. We drove home together. And now you're working? It didn't seem right to me. But it was obviously, that hustler mentality of like you come to the US with, like, you know, the American dream, and he wanted to provide for all of us. And it was so heartbreaking. I can't even tell you guys how much it hurt seeing that. And now that I remember about it, and like whenever I think about it, it just breaks my heart all over again. And then in November of 2024, so that was about May of 2024 when all this happened. Then November of 2024 for Thanksgiving, I had already been to Vegas, right? And I told my dad, like, oh, we should go to Vegas, we should go to Vegas. And he's like, no, I want to go to Vegas. And then I was like, we're going. So I booked everything and like, all right, we're going. Like, you're literally hopping in that car. And if you don't hop in the car, girl, I'm going to tie you down and put you in the car. I told him. I honestly told my dad, I'm going to tie you and put you in the car if you don't get in the car for your own will. But then that week leading up to going to Vegas, my dad got really sick. But we all thought it was like a cold, like the flu, because mind you, it's November, it's kind of getting cold already. So I told my dad, nah, you got a flu, whatever, you know, pack some medicine, let's go. So we left, and like my dad was like at the point where he was like, no, like I feel really sick. And we're like, you're fine. And then after the first night, I think, or the first full day, I cannot remember, we were like, oh shit, we think he has pneumonia. And he would take medicine. He was like, no, I'm fine. And like he would get his jacket or sweater on. He's like, no, I'm fine. But then it was like, no, I'm really bad again. So yes, my dad was in Vegas and he tried to enjoy as much as he could. Some of the stuff he definitely did skip on because he was like, hey, I'm sorry, but like I'm not feeling well. Like you guys should still do it. Like I'm just gonna stay here because, you know, we got an Airbnb. So he's like, I'm just gonna stay in the Airbnb and like relax and stuff. I'm like, okay, cool. So he just did stay in, and then we came back home, and literally that week, not even a week had passed when my dad landed in the hospital. December of 2024 is when my dad did go to the hospital, and they told him he had a very large tumor, but that they didn't have any technology to be able to do any more exams, and that because it was in his head, they did not have any neurologist. They didn't have a neurologist team there, so they had to go ahead and transport him out to the nearest hospital with a neurology team. So they did go ahead and transport him out. He was at the Community Regional Center in Fresno, which is also partners with UCSF. Very lucky to have had all that team there. They were very nice people. They answered all the questions that we had. And the first day that he was there, it was just a matter of like relaxing, talking with the family, seeing if he was going to get brain surgery, because, you know, they tell you the good, they tell you the bad, they tell you everything that could happen, and the fact that you can literally die from this, and how you have to get like blood transfusions if needed, all this crazy stuff. So that first day was like a matter of deciding, and then the second day he decided he was going to do it. So then the second day he went and he did it. And that morning I actually drove me and my siblings to the hospital to say basically like bye before surgery. And it was very unfortunate because that morning I did not say bye to my dad. That morning, the only people that got to say goodbye to my dad before he went to surgery, I'm sorry, was my mom, my sister, and my younger brother. And I basically had to just suck it up and be okay all day and hope that I would get to say hi to my dad again when he was out. And it was the scariest hours of my life, because I'm like, oh my God, what if he doesn't come out? Or what if he's not well? Because, you know, paralysis and all this stuff are like stuff that can go bad in surgery. Like there's that percentage of stuff, and it was so scary. Fortunately, Allah, and he was in God's hands and he was fine, and I got to see my dad and talk to him after surgery. But it was very scary not to say goodbye, because you just never know. Basically he took about a week to go ahead and recover. He was in the ICU and it was really bad. 2 or 3 days out of the week that he was in the ICU, I had to go out there. So basically, like, my mom stayed out there with him, but stuff was not great. So I had to also go out there for some of the days. Like I said, I can't even remember if it was 2 or 3 days. And then I got to bring my dad home about 5 days after his surgery. I got to bring him back home, and he was there, and it was the most relief that I've ever felt in life. So towards the end of January 2024, that is when my dad got his first sets of results, and they told him that it was not cancer, that he was fine, that it was not cancer. And I remember him calling and telling me like, hey, this is what they told me. And he was like in shock, disbelief. Like he was really like, wow, like I'm fine. Like surgery was it. Like I'm fine, you know. They had still told him like maybe it was still recommended to do like radiation just to make sure that whatever was left there could just go ahead and shrink, that he would be fine. And then he had met with the doctors there at the local cancer center, and they told him like, you know what, I think that they're gonna just rerun the sample. Like, just I don't know, I don't remember why. I don't remember literally why. But then they needed my dad's consent, so my dad did go ahead and sign, and they were like, okay, you know, we're gonna rerun it. And then about, I don't know if it was a week later, 2 weeks later, or maybe just a couple days later, they told him like, never mind, there is cancer cells, and you know what we retrieved from you, and this is what you have. And my dad learned that he in fact did actually have cancer. But I think what's the most heartbreaking, obviously, is like being told you don't have cancer and then you do. Like, what the hell, you know? But it was like that day, I remember it so clearly, like that day that he was told he didn't have cancer. I got home and I was very emotional on my way home. And I already knew like it was going to be such a happy day. So I parked, and it was like something in me was just like, run, grab your shit from your car and run inside. And the moment that I opened the door, my dad was there standing with his hands like wide open. I was like, no descanse, no descanse. And we just hugged and we cried. Then I had to go pick up my little brother. So I picked up my little brother, and my dad was like, don't tell him anything, don't tell him anything. So I picked him up, and then he did the same thing. He did the same thing with my little brother, and we all just hugged. We ended up hugging. And then, like I said, you know, a couple weeks later, he was told that it was. And you could only imagine, right? You could only imagine being told you're fine and then that you're not. It was very heartbreaking. I think it's the most tough thing that I've had to face in life. And there's a lot. There's a lot that I've seen in life and faced in life. And of course, you know, I'm not ready to share that side of me yet. I'm not ready to tell you guys everything. I'm sharing what I feel comfortable with, what would make sense for my channel. And essentially, the reason I'm telling you guys my dad's story is because my dad's story has shaped me as an individual, you know. My dad did go ahead and do chemotherapy and radiation, and like I remember going to his very first chemotherapy session with him, and it was heartbreaking. You know, we walked into this room, and the people in there, you know, they're actually really nice. Like, they are very welcoming to the families. Like, you can come in with your loved one into the room and see it for yourself and see what, you know, where he's going to be at, what they're going to be doing. They introduce themselves. They told me like, we know very little Spanish, but we know enough Spanish to have our patient in here. But if your dad does need any sort of like, you know, translator, we can bring them in. But because I was there the first time, then, you know, it was fine. So they walked him through everything that he was going to do every single time that he would go in. So after the first time, he basically like got the gist of it. Like, you know, there was not a lot of speaking to do, essentially. Just very heartbreaking to see like my dad being laid on a bed and like putting this mask over him, and basically you're almost like being screwed, you know, because your mask has to stay in place. And it made me feel like it was suffocating him and that he was in pain just being there. And he would say that it was fine, like they tried to make it comfortable, but it was just heartbreaking to even see that. And I was around, obviously, my dad's entire fight until January of this year when I did move out. So the reason I'm kind of bringing you through this timeline of my dad is because I was there through it all. I saw the worst, you know, the good days, the bad days, the in between. I saw him finish chemotherapy and be at his happiest. I saw him start chemo and, you know, have all the bad symptoms and like, you know, the nausea, the vomit, the not being able to eat, or like sometimes overeating with medication he was given. I saw him be fine. I saw him be great. I saw the tumor come back. I saw him, you know, be scared once again and be in a hospital bed and being telling us like, I'm not gonna go through surgery again if you guys, you know, tell me that I need to, like, I'm not gonna do it, I'm sorry, like, you know. Then he did chemo again. Well, my dad would, like, I will say my dad was not a candidate for a second round of surgery, and even if he were, he said he wasn't going to do it. So he then, like, they told him like, oh, like chemotherapy, you know, a higher dose of it, or like can't remember what it is, but basically a higher dose of it like could help potentially. So he did it, and he just continued with it. And then he, at a point this year, so through this all, my dad kept saying he was okay, and me and my dad had talked a lot about leaving, like me moving out, and like me trying to start a life with, you know, my boyfriend, like kind of going forward, like our future, and like settling down and stuff like this. So at a point I told my dad like, hey, I'm moving out. And yeah, it was heartbreaking for me and for him, because of the fact that he was still fighting his fight. But my dad said he would be okay, and like, you know, very supportive. I feel like I don't really have to dive too much into that, just because it was a decision that I know I took, you know, with talking to him. And I moved out in January of this year. In February of this year, so 2026, we were on a call. We were on a call with the neuro-oncologist, and the moment that we hopped in the call, I already knew it was bad news. I can tell in the doctor's face. I can just tell from the way she was acting that it was bad news. But I didn't expect it to be this bad. She was always very, very straightforward with me and my entire family about it all. And she told us that my dad had less than 3 months of life, and that stuff would change overnight. In a blink of an eye, my dad could be different. In a blink of an eye, he could be experiencing this and that and this and that. And yeah, they told my dad in February of this year he had 3 more months to live. My dad passed away in March of 26. And my dad passed away March 25th of 2026. From the time that I left my dad's house to the time that he passed away, I was obviously visiting still. I was still going out there because I knew his condition was only worse, you know, getting worse and worse. At a point, my dad did get admitted into hospice care, so that was also rough. We got to experience that. I had a lot to do when that happened, and I will share more in the future, but it was extremely hard, guys. It was like, if everything else, up to this point felt easy, this was yet the hardest thing that I had to experience in life. Like, what the hell? Hospice? Like, everything up to this moment was extremely hard, but like I'm saying, it almost felt easy as compared to like being told my dad needs hospice, and my dad needs like a hospital bed, and my dad needs this and that and this and that. Like, it was insane. Fortunately enough, it's not like my dad is very far. Like, he's actually resting pretty close to where I live. Like I said, like, I live in Salinas. I don't know if I mentioned it, but I am back and living in Salinas now. So I live in Salinas, and my dad is actually resting in Prunedale. So it is very close. It's at least very nice to have him close by, to the point where I can go and take him flowers, or if I want to go and cry there, I sit there and cry, have dinner there and cry, have lunch, you know, meet up with my sister there and cry, or just have like that family time in a sense. Like, for Father's Day in my video, as you saw, I spent my entire day there. And I share this all because I experienced a lot with my dad. I know this video is going a little bit longer than what I wanted it to initially go to, but I feel like me telling you a little bit more about my story is going to make sense as to stuff that I've said, stuff that I will say, stuff that I've done, or stuff that I will do, or what to even expect for my channel. For the last 5 years, me and my dad, I feel we're extremely close. Like, you know, every daughter and son have their relationship with their parents, the way they have it, the way they interact. But me and my dad, personally, to me, it was like me and my dad were like besties. Like, he would do something and be like, you want to go? Or like, you know, I would say like, oh, let's go over here, let's go get ice cream, like, let's go do this. And no, I am not perfect. Let me say this, I am not perfect. I'm not going to sit here and be like, I never disrespected my dad, I never cussed at my dad, I never yelled at my dad. I did. I did. We all have our moments. I am not a perfect child. I am not perfect in any sort of way. Did I yell at my dad sometimes? Absolutely. Was I mad at my dad? Of course. Did I feel like sometimes I just did not want my dad around? Absolutely, I did. Because sometimes you just get mad and you have this interaction that you're like, oh my God, fuck this. Like, I don't want this person around me. I had my moments. Sometimes I'd cuss at my dad. So one time vividly and very vividly, I remember like flipping off my dad. And my dad was like, oh, I'm gonna come after you, girl. Like, I am gonna come after you. And he was like, don't ever do that to me again. Ever. He's like, this one time and that's it. That one time and that was it, girl. I never did it again. So yeah, I'm not a perfect child. I'm not, you know? But I will say that no matter what it was in life, me and my dad, or at least to me and my dad were besties. I had that relationship with my dad where it was just like, that was my bestie. Like I said, I'm not close to my mom. I'm not. So me and my dad were like, that was my parent. That was the one person that I really had and could trust with everything and could rely on for everything. If I needed help, he would give me help. If I needed like a consejo, he would give it to me. Whatever it was, if I needed a laugh, he would do it. If I was having a terrible day, he would come try to make it better. He'd be like, okay, what's going on? Or like, oh, you want me to give you $5 to get a coffee? Like, he knew I loved coffee, you know? Or he'd be like, what can we do? Or like, you want to go on a walk? Or like, well, what are you doing? What's going on? Or, you know, he would just go bother my brother and like me, and he would just make us laugh. Like, he was genuinely there to make us be a better person. So for the last 5 years, my life completely shifted from literally being in college to like figuring out how to, you know, finish online, and then from losing my grandpa to seeing my dad grieve his own dad, but then to seeing my dad be sick, and then do like literally go through all this stuff with my dad to then find out he was sick and him fighting his fight. It opened an extremely new world to me. If it were not for this, I would have never known what the inside of a cancer center looked like, what an inside of a freaking radiation room looked like, what a radiation mask looked like in real life, not just in pictures. I didn't just see the pictures, guys. I've experienced it. I experienced waiting in a lot of waiting rooms, whether it was a cancer center, whether it was emergency rooms, whether it was like the clinics, like all these places. I experienced it. I was with my dad there. I took my dad to like a stress test when they had told him like, oh, maybe it's your heart, like, you know, with the what's it called, cardiologist. I seen it all. I would call and schedule my dad's appointments. I went and like I took him for like a shower chair when he was sick and he needed it. Like, we went and we did all this stuff together, and it exposed a completely new perspective in life. And I want to say something, and I know it's going to be a little bit dark. I am trying to close this video up already, and I hope that, you know, you guys kind of gathered some stuff from me and got to know me a little bit better. I just feel like I am very much shaped. Ever since my dad passed away, I'm shaped in a different way. I am not the person I used to be, and I know what I might be saying now is going to be a little bit dark. It's going to be a little bit direct. It's going to be definitely something more deep. I'm sorry if I make anybody uncomfortable. If you get uncomfortable real easy when people say stuff, maybe you shouldn't watch it anymore. Maybe you should stop here. But for those who want to hear me out, please continue watching. Then my dad passed away, I knew shit was going to change. The morning after my dad passed away, and the morning after I buried my dad, I realized that the person who existed before he passed away died and got buried the same day he did. And I say this because before that, sometimes life to me was fucking unicorns and rainbows. It was. And I do admit it was probably because of how much my dad would do for me, but it was also because he always made life feel so nice and pink and pretty, and he always did what he could to make his kids happy. And like I said, he provided, and my dad sacrificed a lot. But that day, it was like that person was gone, and I was too. The day of his burial, a lot of people say that I lost it really bad. My dad had just fucking died and was being buried. But I guess I lost it really bad to others. Thought about it and I was like, maybe I should just jump. Maybe I should just jump and be gone. Be gone with him. And I'm not suicidal. But in that moment, there was this pain in me that I was like, fuck, if I just jump, then I go with him and I get to stay with him. And I don't need to like keep living with this feeling of something is missing, with the grief, with the pain of losing my dad, with losing the only person that I had in life. And believe it or not, it was crazy because it was just like something in that moment. The moment after I had this thought was like, snap out of it. Snap out of it. And it was very much like I felt like my dad was like, hey, why are you even having this thought? After that, I'm not the same person, guys. Life is not that serious. If there is one thing that losing my dad taught me, is that life is not that fucking serious. I hate to break it to you, but life is not that serious. It's not. It is not. If you have dirty dishes, your dirty dishes can damn wait for tomorrow. Let me tell you something. When they told us that things can change with my dad overnight, I didn't believe it. I thought it was a lie. I thought they were lying. And I thought it was like, I knew it was serious. I knew it because I saw and I kept seeing my dad die little by little in front of me. And I knew it was serious. But I didn't want to believe it. And from one day to the next, he was gone. That's serious shit. That's fucking serious shit. When somebody is sick or somebody is dying slowly, that's serious. If you have dirty dishes, who cares? Let them pile up. Let them pile up. Wash them tomorrow. Who cares? You don't have gas right now. Either you're gonna go pump gas or you're just gonna stop thinking about it. Life is not that serious. It's not. It's not. If you have a job right now and you want another job tomorrow, do it. Do it. I know it's not easy, but if you don't like your current job, then go get a new one. If you don't like your current partner, go get a new one. Go do something. Go do something about it. But don't think and don't be rude to people. Don't take life too seriously. Life can be done for you tomorrow. Life can be done for you tomorrow. Hear me. Do shit and enjoy your life today. Because with the blink of an eye, you could be done. Your entire life can be done. And that is exactly how I felt when my dad passed away. When my dad passed away, I was like, my fucking life is over. That is how I felt. Is it over? No. No. Because I'm still well and alive. And now I have to live and I have to be thankful for God for having this health and for having a beautiful life and for trying to live for my dad, trying to continue doing everything that I'm doing for him, because believe it or not, I have a lot to do still. I'm a master's student right now. I'm a master's fucking student, and guys, it's been killing me since my dad passed away. I've been slacking on it, but guess what? Now I have to do it for him. But if I wanted to drop out, then I could drop out, because guess what? Life is not that serious. I already have a bachelor's. Whatever, you know. A master's, yeah, it's gonna make me look smarter, it's gonna give me better opportunities, but at the same time, life is not that serious. It is really not. Like, no matter what you tell me, like, when people come up to me and they think they can say dumb stuff to me, go ahead. I don't even care. It doesn't even faze me, because life is not that serious. Why are you going to let anybody ruin your life with a dumb, stupid comment? If people tell you or criticize you like they have to me, oh, you're too fat, you shouldn't be wearing that. I don't care. Do you think I care what you think? Absolutely not. Am I chunky? Absolutely. I've gained a lot of weight. I've gained so much weight. So whether it's like overeating, I've been stressed, I lost my dad, let me pig out on food. Girl, I am trying to work on my weight. I know I'm chunky. I know. But am I still going to wear whatever I want? Absolutely. Oh my God, my light just literally died on me. So I'm sorry. The quality is so much different. But yeah, don't let anybody ruin life. Keep doing you. Keep doing you and live for you and live for all of your loved ones. Do it for the people that matter and F the ones that don't care and are just here to shit talk. If the only good thing that somebody has to do in their life is talk about yours, I don't know what the fuck they're doing in life. They are just bitter. But that should sum it up. If talking about you is the only good thing that people have to do in life, I'm sorry, but what type of life are they living? Let others talk about you. It doesn't matter. It literally does not matter. It shouldn't even face you. People start looking at me dirty because I'm wearing something. I'm like, you know what? I don't care. I don't care. Let me be. I'm going to die happy one day. When I'm older and I have kids, and be like, yeah, I wore that. Your mom wore that. Who cares? Who cares? Your mom was like confident. Your mom loved herself. Your mom knew she was chunky. Like, she was not out there be like, no, I'm hella skinny. No, I'm not. I'm chunky. But I embrace it and I love myself and I wear what I want with confidence. Because if you're wearing it with confidence, it's just gonna make everything look even 10 times better. And in this video, I know you only didn't learn about me. You learned about my dad. You learned about my siblings. You learned literally who I am as a person con este carácter que a veces me enojo, que a veces lloro, que todo. I tried to keep it together. Did I want to like mentally cry my eyes out right now that I was talking about my dad? Absolutely. But I was breathing in and out so hard because I don't want to cry. I don't. I'm so tired of crying today. Honestly, I literally put on mascara and like a little bit of concealer here because I have terrible eye bags. Yesterday, I spent 2 hours, straight 2 hours just crying. I'm not kidding. And then today I went to visit my dad at the cemetery, and guess what? I was crying. I was drinking soda, eating chips, crying at his grave. And what? Look, now I'm here. Life changes so fast, I'm telling you. And it's like, at least like I try to gather myself together, you know what I mean? Am I crazy? Absolutely, I'm crazy. But I hope that you guys gathered something from me. I hope that you guys try to understand why I am the way I am. If I say shit when I'm like buzzed, it's because it's for a reason, you know? If I say enjoy life and that I'm gonna enjoy life for my dad and for my entire family, I'm gonna enjoy life, girl. I am not kidding. When you take a little shot or multiple shots like I did and multiple drinks like I did my last video, you are going to be speaking the real truth, your real feelings. And honestly, with me, I don't even gotta drink. I can sit there and tell you all my story. I know this video is gonna be a way longer than I wanted it to be. I'm sorry. If you want a longer episode, girl, I'm in for it. I have a lot of stuff to let out. Trust me. I'm a 23-year-old who has been through shit. Girl, you wouldn't imagine. You would not imagine. I've been through hell and back. And here I am. Well in life. So enjoy life. I'll see you on the next one, okay? I hope you guys still like me. I hope that this video was okay. And if you guys don't watch it, then okay. I hope you watched the other one at least. But yeah.